Okay, I'm gonna share my screen. Just two quick things. One is this. I think from all the talk of Mashiach yesterday, my children were inspired. And my daughter asked me to, she said, because I read them stories every night, like we're doing Lubavitch Rebbe's Zechrenis now, different stories, Baal Shem Tov. And she said, can we not do the stories instead? We'll just do about Mashiach. I want you to teach me everything about Mashiach.
Wow.
So this is the hard part because I had to tell her no. I was like, it's bedtime. It's bedtime stories. I'm not giving you a shir on Mashiach when you time to go to sleep. But
Mandy, I disagree. I'm sorry. I don't want to mix into your business.
Hey! 1 second before you pull a Ruvain on Sandy on me. Just 1 second. So I had a perfect solution. It's this sefer I'm holding in front of you. It's a booklet. I have it here. I don't know if you could see me also. It's the same thing. I just took a picture of it. And it's some bacher. I don't know who it is. I don't know if he puts his name in here. He has thinkgeula@gmail.com. And he said he was a bacher in 770. And he wrote this up. Has anyone seen this?
How the world is going to look when Mashiach is here?
No, it's very interesting. It's a little bit of that. I didn't finish it, but when I finished the first chapter, I said, "You want me to do another one?" They said yes. And I said, "I'll do one more." It was late already. And then I finished the second one. I said, "You want me to do another one?" They both said yes. But the boss, who's 6 years old, she said no. So that was the end of it. But it's fascinating. He's in 770, and Mashiach comes. The Rebbe walks in. And he gives
I remember reading it. It's quite
oh my gosh. They were so excited, the kids, and they couldn't fall asleep. So that's
the problem.
That's the problem. It was so exciting. It was incredible. Anyway, I just want to say, I want to put a plug for this. I reached out to him. I don't know who it is because I used the email today, and I'll see if he responds. Maybe he can come on. Hopefully we won't have time for him to come on. But anyway, that's one thing I wanted to share. And then another thing I came across, my son shared this with me, which was very exciting. Let's see if I could find it here. Here. Has anybody seen this before? You can see it, right?
Do you mind
I
elaborate?
just came across it today.
Okay.
But I didn't listen to it.
I just listened to the first 25 minutes, and I don't know who they are, but it's just another example of how wonderful. I mean, just something's going on. Something is going on. It's like, and maybe when we do our part, it shakes up the world a bit, So it's a special. Mashiach's coming, and we have proof with Rabbi Ehul. So I'm going to play a little bit for you. Just listen to the intro, okay? Tell me, and then I'll share the link if you want to spend time on it. It's long. It's an hour and 5 minutes.
Please share it. I'll have what to do when I'm driving.
Okay, I will.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Kiddush Club. This week,
1 second. You can hear it, right?
Yes.
we have a fascinating interview with Rabbi Hul.
Rabbi Alexander Hul was gracious enough to join us. And for me, this was a tremendous treat because I've read his books, as I've mentioned them here on the podcast before. And the crazy part is that he gave us his time, and we asked him, we just threw these questions at him. As you'll see, we spend the majority of the podcast discussing the times of Mashiach.
To me, that was fascinating in and of itself, just to know that there are clear-cut dates where everything checks out, and it's got to be the certain time or that certain time.
But
Okay, I'm stopping there. That's just a taste. You have to go if you want to see more of it. I just wanted to introduce you to it and to show you what I pulled across. It's these guys, they're discussing it. The big problem, I mean, it's not a Lubavitch thing, obviously, and they're comfortable with Mashiach in 2-3 years from now, which is something that's we can't handle.
But that's a lot of progress. It used to be 10,000 years.
Zosha, I disagree. It wasn't that they were comfortable in 10,000 years. They weren't comfortable, period. No, I was saying we have to understand that by them, the whole concept of Mashiach was not something that they were comfortable talking about other than novelty and Gael. The idea that it should be real was very uncomfortable. The whole concept there, that's been the biggest paradigm shift. That it's a real thing about what the timeline of it. That's already that's everything is an edich once you're already in the 1 to 10 to 15 to even 1,000. But to get from 0 to 1 is the big quantum leap.
Absolutely. No question about it. The Rebbe sagt, dass der Rebbe eingenommen der Welt, and the Welt is great.
No,
So the world is ready. I think it's quite obvious. Did you see the thing that I posted today? Came out. I just came across it on YouTube about blaming the Rebbe.
Yeah. No, that was. We posted that already. The day of that.
Who is this guy?
Ach, weiß nicht, but I was very upset because I said, oh, he's going to ruin our whole thing. But I got the cash. Hey, gate glasses in the good.
By the way, first of all, two things. Shmuley Litvin's on the thing, and the bracha, that Nachasvefa, that Menreich, that the Chabad of Kentucky should build Elef Pamim Kacha,
Amen.
and it's to go immediately to the base of Mikdash. And
I was going to ask you, Shmuley, is that?
I just said we had 2 korban in one day. We're ready for Mashiach.
What happened?
What was the second korban?
Before Mashiach, so that we had 2 fires in the Chavadas.
Nobody got hurt.
Paul, the Abisha sent us a fire in the house that the Chavadas is attached to, in order that we can take out our Sefer Torah and that nobody would be there, because the whole thing burnt down while we were doing Haftarah. On the other side of the block in my father's house, the whole thing burnt down in 10 minutes. And if we were in there, who knows what would have happened.
Noch a fire, steht da, der Zemachter sagt, noch a Strefe, wird man reich. So sein Aschires Begashvis im Bruch ist.
Amen.
I mean, but can you imagine with all the craziness, Shmuley took the time to basically be the manager behind the entire Fabrengen yesterday.
Yeah.
What else am I going to do?
One of the things that we see is that Taka, it's almost like I was feeling very strongly during COVID. We have nothing to do but spread the word on Mashiach. That's the one thing that has not been bottled. Anyways, it shouldn't be that way. That it should come from these inyanim. It should come because we know that this is it. This is it.
I want to take a moment. Who was it that posted such a geschmack insight? And it had a very strong pull on me, and there was a Pele somebody posted that the Einzikim Miftzah that is shaykh to do on Pesach, after obviously Miftzah Matzah, is Miftzah Havas Anoshim V'Sudas Mashiach. It was an Isaac.
I think it was Muchnik.
I want to tell you, it put me into that, whatever it is. And I had 3 times the amount of people by Mashiach Soda, and it was an incredible. I labeled it as a symposium on the Young Mashiach. Everybody around the table had to share. Everybody, whoever it was, everybody bar none, had to share something on Mashiach. It could be a question that you want an answer to, but nobody was able to stay silent and in just a.
I have a quick question. Is this thing, the security thing, tonight or next week? So why does one of the PDFs that you sent me say?
Anyways, so and it was incredibly geschmack. Ad kedei kach that we were sitting to 45 minutes after Pesach was over. And I'll tell you, there's 2 hard deadlines in a Chabad house. When Yom Kippur ends, don't dare hold the Kehillah 2 minutes after Yom Kippur is over. And when Pesach ends, don't dare hold them away from their chametz. And the fact that the Gazettes in 40, nobody was in a rush to get up. It's like nobody even looked up at the clock. The conversation was going. It was amazing. People were asking real questions, like because it was a real thing by then. And they were saying they were apologizing for asking, Rabbi, I don't mean that. I said, if I can't, asking, challenging, how is this possible, means that it's the real thing by you. If you're not asking, it's because it's all one big flowery fantasy. Asking is an indication as that you're trying to make it fit with your reality, and it was incredible, and the impetus behind it, I have to say, Yashikach, to the one who put it up, it made me take. You know, Pesach's not a vacation. Shliach is never on vacation. So it was Tutman, take. Nicht mehr zu Tfilin, nicht mehr zu Mezuzah, was tut nicht mehr zu Lulav, I mean, mit Sudas Mashiach. And it was a beautiful, beautiful thing.
I'll relate it to Marchnik. Or maybe he'll listen to this. He's one of the Minatzchim here, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know if he's on now.
No, he's not on.
Okay.
But yeah. So, Chevra, when you post something in the Minatzchim and you don't necessarily get a response, it doesn't mean it's that people are paying attention. So post Geschmack, powerful Divrei Yisraelis. It has an effect.
Beautiful.
You never know who you affect, what you affect, how you affect. Just to share with you something completely interesting. We're very much into billboards over here. Before Pesach, we put up 20, before Yidalf Nissen, 20 billboards around town. The message about mitzvah, Moshiach, welcome to Moshiach. And on the building of the yeshiva, which is in anyway, certain spot, there's a poster, a big poster that we hung up probably 20 years ago, maybe even more now. And basically, there's a beautiful picture of the Rebbe. The Rebbe kind of giving a coin, and underneath it says, let's welcome Mashiach with acts of goodness and kindness. The other day, a woman gave birth in a local birthing center. She's into Mitzrayim, so she was giving the midwife, I think it was, not Jewish, she gave her a card of Sheva Mitzvahs B'nai Noach. And there's a picture from the Rebbe on it. Says, who is this rabbi? Anyway, so she's explaining it to us. Says, oh, now I know. That's why. I want you to know, for the last 20 odd years, I drive by every day to work on the corner of Plumondon and Westbury. That's where she goes to work. And I've seen this picture of this rabbi asking we should do acts of goodness and kindness. In French, she speaks. She says, and every day I stop on my way, I stop by the picture, I look to the rabbi and I tell him, Rabbi, today I'm going to do an extra act of goodness and kindness.
This is crazy.
20 odd years. Every day she stops. So I shared that story with someone, and he tells me there is over here a Russian Jew, Boris is his name, a big builder. He's a Heverman. And he tells me that he knows that this Boris was a Bulvan, a real Russian Boris. So Boris would come every day to this picture, sich wegstellen und sagen, Hallo Rebbe. Okay? So I'm saying, you never know who you affect, what you affect, how you affect. It's
Beautiful.
Wisdom is powerful.
100%.
Someone who's calling in wanted to say something. I don't know. It doesn't say your name. It's from a 269 number. No.
By the way,
wanna-
Mendy, I just want to
Yeah.
say that I'm not usually on the meetings. I came on Punkt today. And Punkt, I came on to hear of Sandy sharing that about silent observers and the benefit of those that are not so actively involved, which is definitely one of me. I mean, I'm one of them. But I obviously keep up on the group, and a few different nekudas that go on there are brought here locally into my shlichus or whatever it is. And Benegeya to like today, I live in like near Tucson. I'm going to Phoenix to bring for the high school and the other and Anash over there. And I spoke to the high school administrator, and I told her what I'm thinking of sharing. She's basically Mendy Rubenfeld's Tyrus, and they said no, he's coming here very soon, next week or something.
I was gonna go this week. I'm coming next week, Mr.
Next week, they said no. They said, speaking about the Nevuos of Gula, how they're already materializing, is something that we're coming up very soon. So I said no problem. I've been watching on the group and following with United for the Rebbe. I said fine. So we'll bring about that for Anash and for the high school girls. Make sure
you can get things started. The more, the merrier.
Actually, Rabbi Matzesef told me. He said it's not going to be too much. He said go push. He said let it be a review. He has the videos and the PowerPoints. He said, but I'll still decide about that. But United for the Rebbe is something I could do. I'm on the group. Good stuff. Not always involved. But I have to speak about something, and Mendy's going to take care of his own stuff. So we'll cover the Stam. I came on to hear Sandy saying about silent observers, and that's definitely me. So that's the Shekoyach.
Yeah,
I want to tell you something.
Don't be so silent. We enjoy hearing you.
But it's so important. We were just discussing this. What you were mentioning about Fabregan about United for the Rebbe. We were just discussing. I was discussing with Yitzchak Raskin, who is also a silent observer right now on this call. After he made waves in the ganze Yiddish Welt.
I'm listening to every word.
I know. I was saying after you made the waves in the ganze Yiddish Welt, YouTube videos and everything about the fact that Lubavitch has formally declared, but now all of a sudden he went silent. No, but we were just grappling on the idea of how to that words have to be shared on why signing this Ksavas Kashrus is not just a gimmick and not just a quick signature and Shalom Al Yisrael. In fact, the one who is now kind of taking on the responsibility of organizing this whole effort was saying that he's a Bacher, and to a Bacher it's hard to his fellow Bachrim to say why, Baruch Hashem, he has this beautiful problem. The beautiful problem we're being Meiser es Ruchev, es Nashev, and Shmasai to a Lubavitcher Bacher is nicht kein Grace Auftu. Give me a Meiser B'Poyel, something that I can sink my teeth into, because to give myself even in Ganzen zum Rebbe, that's a default position. It's a mighty dick place to be. That the Rebbe is a mole, but it was the biggest thing that a chassid could do. But nowadays the Bachram is saying, a soldat, what am I if not that? That's what I am, but you have to give me something more, because Stam is a chasman. But I think it's a very important, you're going to be verbringen with this high school in Tucson, to explain Taka, to clarify. Moshe Kotlarski gave an entire speech on this Nakuda. Oh, we just lost it. Oh no, here that was shifted on my screen. Moshe Kotlarski gave an entire speech on this Nakuda to the Kinas HaShluchos, the whole history of before Yud Shvat, Tashin Yud Aleph, about the Kisvei Kashrus that were sent in and how they were poiled, the Nesias, because it's a very real thing. Ein melech b'loi am. Not that the Ksav Hiskashrus is that you're signing as a means to a further end. I'm signing up for something. The Ksav Hiskashrus is you triggering the Malchus of the Rebbe. In other words, Shtel sich vor, we are coming. I don't chas v'shalom. But this is the way I imagine it. I don't to speak on behalf or know things that are beyond obviously my scope. But the Rebbe is coming to the Eibishter and saying, no, stop holding back. Let me come and already take the Eden out of Golos. Stop holding me back. Right? L'chayda, something's going on in Shemayim. They're holding back the Rebbe from coming and taking the Eden out of Golos. Maybe just like as Ruvain talks about often, that the Malchus of David HaMelech, even though the Eibishter already appointed him as the Melech, right? We know that the Shmuel HaNavi is already telling Shaul HaMelech, it's not going to be you, it's not going to be Yonasan, it's going to be David HaMelech. So the Eibishter, Milmaila, David HaMelech is already chosen. So what held up his Meluch? held of the Melucha is that the Am did not cry out and say, we choose you. Because ain't Melech b'lei Am, so it cannot happen without the Am. Can sich vorstellen that maybe the Rebbe is saying, I'm ready to come, and the Eibishter is saying, yeah, but is your Am ready to be Makabel? Has the Am called out for you? Not only are they ready, have they called out?
Cindy,
yeah.
Why don't we make a video explaining better this concept? A
100%.
professionally done video explaining the power and importance of the thing. Because I think a lot of people
This is one of the
talking
things
away.
that me and Chaim discussed. That we're gonna be making a series of a few videos.
Right, but I think that this particular
very
this is the last one. Oh.
But I'm
Yes.
saying you can bring with the people. I don't know.
Truth is that listening to a shir from Rabbi Yoel on Rosh Hashanah Chassidus, Yom Tov Rosh Hashanah, anything Binyan HaMalchus. This is the.
That's been a good. That's why it's so interesting that Chassidus is. This is all of us are learning all the time. Chassidus makes such a deal about Rosh Hashanah. It's mamish that.
To me.
No, I will tell you that Sandy, this is not such a new concept to me, but interestingly enough, connecting Kabbalah Samalchus to Tafshin Yud to me is a new concept that I never, till lately, I'm saying in this group, I never drew that parallel. I saw recently a write-up, I think Beis Mashiach did it, probably similar to what Moshe Kolarski gave over by the Kinos HaShluchos of the history of the Ksavos Kashrus. I don't know who wrote it, Reinitz or someone, whatever. I don't even remember who, but it was a recent it was in Beis Mashiach there. But that to me is I'm saying an incredible new and relatable to Dara Shrinek's connection to the concept of Kabbalah Samalchus. That's that part for me is a brand new chiddush. I'm saying in the whole, not a chiddush, but new to me.
Right. And I think this what you're saying is. This is the way I think people miss this. Everybody assumes, think about this. Everybody assumes, we all assume we're going to be sitting there going about our business. And many of us, our business will be, doing shlichus or whatever it is. And then plutzland, pisim yavim, right? And there's truth to that. But what does that mean? Pisim yavim, like the Melech comes out of the blue and imposes his malchus. That's never been the way it is in Yiddishkeit. Rosh Hashanah, and to me, the moment, the part of the davening of Rosh Hashanah that gives me the chills is saying those words, knowing the power that we have, that the Eibush is holding back, and the Eibush says, I will not impose my malucha until you choose it. That's the way the Eibush sets up. And
let me ask you a question. In Tafshin Nun Gimel, Tafshin Nun Daled, when Chassidim were actively busy with the Hachraz and everything else, was the understanding then that this was the expression of the Rebbe's call and Chayesod and Beis v'chulu l'kabel pnei Mashiach tzidkenu, or somehow was there some not exactly linked? Obviously, I wasn't around then, but was that the understanding then that the Hachraz is connected to the Kabbalah Samalchus?
I'll tell you the truth.
I have to say,
I can't speak to this.
That
I'm of your generation.
If you listen to Rabbi Yoel and you listen to Rabbi Yossel Weinberg, and I can share a few of them.
I saw this, but I saw them going around. I don't know if I saw them.
Okay, in those what's it called again? Talks, they are clearly stating that. So yes, even it definitely. Obviously, then Volpe wrote a lot about it. This entire Sefer Yechia Melech HaMashiach, Yechia Melech HaMashiach. All of that was surrounding this Nakuda. Difficulty and hardship was that, meaning that the problem that we fell into was that because Gimel Tammuz happened, that it became kind of taboo. It became kind of like
that sounds nice.
So now that we're learning more about Mashiach and people are becoming more comfortable with Mashiach, we're opening up more and more and more. And the reason that's happening is because there's the emes. So it's going to catch up with us. As much as we've tried to run away from it, it's going to catch up with us because of the emes and there's the purpose of everything. So and Baruch Hashem, we should recognize that Minatzchim, us, have because the only way we can keep ourselves inspired and we can keep others inspired to do similar things that we're doing over here is to realize that we played a major role in this awakening that's going on right now, because we're fueling this whole re-embracing of Mashiach learning and things has come a lot from the Minatzchim group. So when people learn it and they open up slowly, first you realize people are uncomfortable with the whole Mashiach talk anymore, and then suddenly people get comfortable with Mashiach, get comfortable with Geula. We make the Mashiach booklet, and people start seeing how you can live Mashiach daily, and so on and so forth. And slowly but surely, it starts growing on them that the Geula has a goyel, and that we get comfortable with the concept of the goyel as well, and we get comfortable with what the Rebbe said, and we realize it, and we connect to it deeper and deeper and deeper. I can share one very gishmak and akud I saw today in the Rebbe's sikha. The Rebbe, there's a hadrin where the Rebbe makes a hadrin, a parallel between Sima Rambam and Sima Sechtes Tainus. These two, the Rebbe is doing a hadrin between the connection of those two, and one of the things that he's talking about is what was yesterday Yediyas Hashlila becomes Yediyas Achiyah today, and the higher Inyan becomes Yediyas Hashlila, and then you get a Yediyas Achiyah. In other words, you can get more comfortable. You can take it in Beprimius, the Yediyas Hashlila of yesterday, what you couldn't connect to, what was too distant to you, and then today you get a higher Yediyas Hashlila. The Rebbe is talking about the knowledge of Elokus that's going to be when Mashiach comes. I think the same process is the process with Mashiach, of course, as well, is that you get what was yesterday like a big breakthrough, today is like Pashat already. And then we move further and deeper in Yan and become something that we start grappling with. We start drawing it closer. We start bringing it in. And I think that these are the campaigns that we've been doing here at the Minatzchim. We had the Vikshu campaign, which was a general awakening that people should cry out in a very real way for Mashiach across the world, not only to Lubavitch, and moving it, sharpening it into this Ksavitz Kashrus. These are things that we have to. And if I can just say one little thing I was thinking is that now that we're all, I see, that there's a fresh energy over here at the Minatzchim. First of all, we have a couple of guys here, but I think we should really generate greater participation in our meetings. I think we should take the few inyanim that we did already. We broke through on major levels and work diligently to expand on these inyanim. If I can say, the evikshu, we should do another evikshu. We should plan it before the Shoshana again. I mean, it's good to start with a head start. It's a half a year away. This time we should try to broaden it in even stronger than we have, because you have more preparation time, prep time. We should do a massive evikshu. We shouldn't need it, but we should do a massive evikshu of crying out for Mashiach before the Shoshana, like we did last time with Rabbanim, not Lubavitch, from everybody across the world. We should take the booklet. See, Rabbi Ephraim Mintz gave our Mashiach booklet.
Very good.
We should work on expanding that into different languages, and also making it even more, asking Laser and promoting it more and more. We got the energy now to do it, so we should work on that. Maybe we should divide amongst ourselves who's going to be working on the various different projects. And of course, this United for the Rebbe, Ksavitz Kashrus, has to be a major a campaign amongst, growing it and developing it. And really, my thoughts, are that we were in a rush, and of course we were in a rush, but we should set ourselves a goal that's for you. Chas v'shalom, but we still have to set a goal that 120,000 signatures for sure by next year, Yud Shvat, by the coming Yud Shvat. So we develop it and grow it, and that we start with Chav Ches Nisan, but we're growing it. We're setting it throughout the year.
I spoke to Moshe last week.
Yes.
And so I told him, I said, "Shkoyach for signing on the thing, whatever." So he said, "Yeah." He's like, "I'm not opposed to it," and this and that. He was giving me, But he tells me, he's like, "I was told that if I'm going to be on it, it's going to bring a lot more people on." He's like, "Is that the case?" He's like, I thought there's going to be a lot of
We only have 3
signings.
signatures, and now we have 3,000.
All right. So I think that he's mamish encourage. He's like, very for, and we could use opportunity. I think that shluchim, if they see this, that he's on it. Obviously, we should leverage that. I think we have to leverage it a lot more.
Hold on, I had an idea. Besides the Vikshu, by the way, can we get together to that? Maybe it's an opportune time. Maybe it's like a ripe that you can get together and talk about Mashiach with other Rabbanim, like have a symposium or something. I think that'll be a great thing. What do you think? Have it on Zoom or something. Have a Zoom. Huh?
I think there should be. I think there should be. We tried to do this a while ago. It didn't take off. But making
But
like
now I
some
think-
kind of like, you make some kind of like, you make some kind of video production where every tkufa, like there's another, you got like another chashuva yid, it could be a big draw from the community or someone nachabad that basically gets interviewed on Mashiach.
That, but also you can have a couple
You
live
interview
thing. Why
them.
not?
You interview. It could be live. Live
Yeah.
is more complicated. But if you interview and it can get someone to edit it, it's much less costly. You have to get someone to go over to him and interview him, and then it can go out. It's not a Chabad product. The point is that it's not a Chabad product. It could be coming from like a big show is not a Chabad officially, right? So you make an Chabad
Right.
product.
Exactly. Right.
You have the guy from Lakewood speaking about Mashiach, the guy from Monroe, you have the guy from wherever.
We
from
have what's it called? We
Stockport.
already
No, but
have
I'm saying going through the questions. What do Adrabah and the end of the Rebbe being Mashiach also can come and not the main thing. The main thing is talk
Let
about
him.
it. Exactly. The
Yeah.
main thing is be a
Talk about
koch in the Bnei Yeshiva should be a koch in Mashiach.
why we already have a list of very sympathetic rabbanim that were willing to get on, and everybody knew Chabad was all the rabbanim that were part of the eviction thing.
Right.
Knew. You have Tuvia Leaf, you have Moshe Weinberger, you have all these.
Exactly.
All these names are chevra.
Do you have any left? Do you have any left? Do you have any guys who are very more like Misnagdish?
Well, I was fighting with Rabbi Saratsky.
Yeah. It's by the way, it can't be undersold how beautiful Rabbi Saratsky's hesitation was when they came to him and they asked. We had somebody, not Lubavitch, go to Rabbi Saratsky. So Rabbi Saratsky responded that no, he's not going to do it because schmeckt as das Lubavitch. So they said, "Nu is was." So what? It's Lubavitch behind it, but it's a close thing. Says, nah. He says, when it's Lubavitch, we know exactly when they say Mashiach, we know exactly who they mean.
He just came up with a book, I think, Agias Mangolaskim. Did you see that?
So let him speak
2
about
years
Mashiach.
ago.
Let him speak about who he thinks Mashiach is. It's fine. It's like
Exactly.
you're just on Jam.
No,
It's like Jam
they
is now.
don't do that.
They don't do that.
Zuhusta is not part of their repertoire. They don't.
Okay, it doesn't matter.
By the way, I always used to tell people.
Let him
I
speak
always
about whatever he
say to
wants.
people, who do you think
Exactly.
who else could be a candidate? I actually once heard an answer, by the way. A Stalner guy told me, we think that the Stalner Rebbe is, but he's a Levi. I said, what are you? I don't know. He answered something. We have a medrash about a red hair, something. I don't know, whatever. But I heard an answer.
Listen, it's not like the bottom line is.
I want to tell you something. That's a beautiful thing. Let the Talmidim of the Staliner believe it's the Staliner.
Yeah, that's fine. But
100%.
even if there's going to be things which are negative to what we believe, when the Rebbe was getting the Algemene Journal, the Rebbe wanted it should be relatable to everybody. So Abi that you're speaking about Mashiach, even if it's going to be Snagdos, that's going to be other people to be thinking and to start asking questions. It's going to bring it to the table.
100%.
I think that's a good
That's a perspective because Fakert, I was going to say the concern is that if there's a forum that to a certain degree is behind us and we're if you're saying that it's Oisgehalten, that we should be behind something that speaks with inyanim that are not
it's a shayla from Mashpia because it depends what you're officially labeling yourself. But it doesn't. If it's not a Chabad product, so then if 60 or 70% is positive and you have a little bit of negative, so let people hear, let people make their own decisions, let people come to their own understanding. The point is, it's probably going to do. Again, I'm not but we do more good than negative. People are negative know they're negative. And it could just bring much more information and awareness and understanding to the table because most people are on board. I think
just
we
a
get
side question.
Yeah.
Just a side question. I was only able to listen to like 3 speakers during the big Fabrengen. I listened to Mendy Shapiro and to Shimi Weinbaum, and in the morning, and then I listened to Rabbi Shachat. Who would you say is memorable to really listen to? Because that's on the side. But if anybody has people that stick out, recommend, because I'd like to listen to a few that were like really.
One name I just want to say. I thought Yossi Groner from Charlotte spoke really, really nicely. I listened to a bunch. It's not, but for me, I don't know for you, but the little.
I would recommend somebody who spoke with feeling, with passion, with heart, was Akiva Wagner.
Oh, yes, very good.
He
Akiva was
had a
very
lot
good.
of people. Everybody had a lot of things to say, but
Yeah.
unfortunately, quite a few of them spoke like a speech, detached. Akiva had gered with heart, had gered
Yeah.
letters, and it was very, very powerful. There were a number of others like this.
Ephraim Mintz.
He was
Ephraim
one.
Mintz was very good.
Ephraim was very, very good, actually.
And Simon
there were a lot of-
Jacobson. Simon Jacobson was also pretty good.
Was it usually? He's a scholarly professor,
Yeah.
and yet, no, that's who he is. I mean, and
But I have to tell
he had some very, very powerful points. But then again, I mean, Simon is not speaking with passion. He's a professor. That's who he is. That's how he always speaks. But in terms of Baron, you know, also spoke very well. Surprising enough, I shouldn't have said it. Chitrik. Yossi Chitrik in Hebrew. He spoke Chassidus Reed. At Gered the Minyan, he spoke quite well. Anyway. But going back to the suggestion, how about doing something like this?
I'm gonna go ahead to the office.
A Yom Iyun on Inyan Mashiach on Zoom.
Yes, exactly.
Yom Iyun for the whole world, open, and have different people from Chabad, Nish Chabad, to speak and give them a specific topic.
100%.
The halacha, different thing, and I think this might have an attraction.
How do we talk? Interesting
Oh, you know what we can do that?
How do we make this?
Maybe we can make it Rosh Chodesh of.
Why do you want to wait so long?
It'll take a while to put this together.
More importantly, I have an interesting question.
Just start it. We'll catch on fire. I believe it'll catch on fire if you ask me. Put in a couple of, you know what? Put in a couple, you know, why don't you tap into all the questions they have? Why don't you put it on the table? What are they afraid of? Who's afraid? Whoever's afraid won't come. Talk about it. It doesn't have to be, again, it doesn't have to, I'm just saying an Indian. I'm just throwing it out there.
A question. Maybe it's better, Taka, that instead of we running it behind the scenes or whatever it is, that we find somebody in the Litvish Welt or the Chassidish Welt, whatever, Taka not Lubavitch, and make it their baby and let them run with it so that Taka does it. It doesn't scare anybody. They don't a shmekton, find Lubavitch is behind it, the organizers and whatever it is, and it Taka becomes a thing.
I want to go the other way. I want to put it, guys.
What are you referring to? You don't want this interview?
Maybe like we get on the phone, this Tuvia Leaf, right, who clearly seems to have a passion for Mashiach. Maybe you say, you run with it, you know, convince him that this is something he wants to do. He wants to put this together, and Moshe Tuvia Leaf or somebody else, Weinberg or whoever it is, and we will say we can help, you know.
You know who can do it? You know, there is a whole movement that's very big and very strong and it talks to the thank you Hashem people. They did a lot of Hasidus. So if I have connections maybe to one of them.
We want to get from each guy.
Ask them if they want to put together something like this, a 24-hour learning a learnathon on Mashiach by various different speakers all over the world.
And the point being, the reason why that this might be a different way to go is, first of all, you'll have learning, and Emre has the Devar Malchus this week. The Maimer for Kodeshim is a Maimer in which Ato Kodesh Eivshit Yisrael. The Rebbe is talking about the biggest uftu is the Peres of the Shana Chamishis, because those are the ones that are in Pashat, in the lowest parts of Olam Hazeh. If the non-Lubavitch Welt is themselves driving a Yom Iyun on Mashiach, they're organizing the Gemara, whatever it is, that l'chayda is instead of l'mayla m'matu, that they accept Chabad dropping a Yom Iyun on them, but rather they themselves are putting one together. And obviously we're putting the thought in their head, but they themselves are the ones kiviyachol putting it together and organizing it and inviting people to talk. And then Mehechi Tesi, obviously we get a couple of Bavitcher speakers, make sure that they get at least a couple of Bavitchers to be part of the full spectrum panel. How powerful of an inyan is that? We get so excited when Mashiach is being discussed outside of our circles.
100%. That's what the idea was. To interview, like, yeah, you have a panel, that could be an amazing thing.
But I'm saying
Get them
they
to
should
talk.
they should be the ones generating it. They get on the phone with as you said, with the Thank You Hashem Chevre, and make them
Let them initiate it. 100%.
let them run it.
Yeah.
And I think it could be an incredibly powerful thing. It could be an incredibly powerful thing. On the other hand,
100%.
if we are actively engineering it, we can probably push that the conversation, the topic.
I was just listening. It came on my. I was in the car, and it came on through Spotify. The song Taka by this Joey Newcomb from
Thank You
Hashem. So he has a line over there. You don't have to be Chabad to want Mashiach, but you have to want Mashiach to be a Yid. That was his line. So
that song is actually, it's halfway cute and halfway pretty a compelling point.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what to make of that song,
yeah.
but
I never heard it. It's the first time I heard it.
Yeah, but it's an interesting look. Everybody knows Lubavitch owns Mashiach, which is, if all sections in Yiddishkeit to own, we'll take it. But that is a mushna zainazeh, and I think that's a very important point. That if it starts mamata l'mayla from them, then I think that's the biggest uftu. On the other hand, we have less of a control onto how far the topic gets pushed, rather than just being some part of a verte.
Yeah, but it starts that way. It starts a little pativ, and hopefully the Rabbanim who will be asked to speak will what's it called again? The Rabbanim that will be asked, people do their research such day.
But I think questions and answers also is a major thing. Everyone loves questions and answers, and this is what we want. We want people to get answers. We want to clarify many things.
So the shaila is, do we think that this is Rebbe?
Yeah.
We're deep in the throes of one effort. We are you hereby taking on another achrayus?
No, the question is it can we move this off of us and move it on to them?
But are you able to go to these Thank You Hashem Chevra? Because the bottom line is going to have to be babysat, even if they accept it. This idea is going to have to be babysat. They're going to have to hold their hands for a very long time.
But again, a Zoom call, how complicated can it be? You make a time, you make a thing.
No, but you want to do you want to get the right advertisement. You want to get
I understand, but it's nothing. It's not a major. You're not doing it in a big hall. You know what I mean? It's not. You're doing it online.
I know that, but the eviction
was also online, and it was.
I understand that, but you don't have to make it so perfect. Okay, it doesn't have to be so. It's not again.
If you want thousands of people participating, you do need to put an effort. That's the only way to work.
Just start it for 200. Let's start for 200 people. And, at least 200. We'll contact another 200. You know how it is. It has to happen. That's what I'm saying. It's ready. I think the world is ready for it.
Look, the bottom line is, I think it's a very good idea. It's the natural progress from the Uvikshu, which is global tefillah, now global teda on the inyan of Mashiach. I think it's
this is another inyan which I mentioned to Mendy Mintz at the meeting that when I brought Mendy Mintz to the meeting with Simon Jacobson and a few Vidim who did the Holy Rafnas, I think in front of 770, and I told him that this coming Lag BaOmer, I think, is going to be the Sima Rambam, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right?
Somewhere around there, yeah.
I believe that's the day. And I thought that it could be a beautiful opportunity if they would make, again, this is like another whole thing, which I don't think it could be arranged on this. But he spoke to Butman about it. Basically, that they should do for the Kedoshim of Meron, which is a yard site this coming year, where the whole world is all open to feel for it, because all these people passed away. on Lag BaOmer, and you can make a Siyum Rambam, and you can make it at the last two Prakim of Rambam, which is all the Rebbe's Tichas HaMashiach, and you can get the whole world to get koching in let them have their own divine Torahs on the last two Prakim of Rambam. You have the Rebbe's in Yonim, and you get all the Rabbanim, a lot of Rabbanim throughout the world. It doesn't have to be it can be Litvish, Chiddush, anybody. And the point is that we're making like a remembrance day for the Kedoshim, Siyum Rambam, Lag BaOmer all together. It could be done online somehow. I'm just thinking we have a month and a half to prepare for it. Truth, not even know. We have 3 weeks.
You have 2 weeks.
3 weeks. 3 weeks. 3 weeks. I spoke to Manny Mintz about it already 2 months ago.
Exactly. 18 days.
So we spoke to Butman. Butman liked the idea. I don't know where it ended up. I'm just mentioning it here again in case anybody thinks it's a good idea. It could be a very.
It can not only be a good idea, you can then turn to the Rabbanim that are going to speak and tell them you want them all to speak. It's going to be a siyum. They should all talk about the last two Prakim of Rambam. The Bechlal, siyumim, everybody highlights the last few. Whenever you're doing a siyum, it's the last Mishnah, it's the last section of the Gemara that you're learning. Let all ever Rabbanim talk about the last section of.
Yeah. I think it's an amazing opportunity to hop around Lag BaOmer when it's a Siyum Rambam and the last two Prakim. I think it's an amazing Kedosh. It could be very powerful.
It could be very well, very powerful. Who's doing it?
It's just a lot of work. I don't have that.
Yes,
a lot of work.
yes. Who's doing it? That's the question.
Maybe someone could call Butman and speak to him about it. Because I think he wants to make a big Siyum Rambam. He's the one that's a Mendel Menz.
I would have otherwise offered my services to not speak to Rabbi Butman, but to speak to Yossi. Shmuel Butman is my uncle. Yossi Butman is my cousin. But we're still a little bit on the outs when I pushed him hard on the Uvikshu.
I would suggest we should not piggyback on anything else. This should be an event a freestanding event for itself, not piggybacking on anything.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
Make it very clear. And I think the idea to go and to do it, I think Ruben's idea of doing it Rosh Chodesh is very good, but we have to build anticipation to it. Have advertisement. Let's for the next 3 months in red. We get Redling Mashiach. We get Leonard Mashiach. This in itself is important. Build up, have a flow, very strategically planned advertisement. People should see it and build up towards it. Und der Rebischter hat Chas V'Sholem kalle machen unsere Pläne.
Yes.
So I think that
you know what? I think we can write up like 20 topics with simple questions and have the Rabbanim address the different topics regarding the Moshe Mashiach, time to Mashiach. I have already. I can pull forth a bunch of topics that I once wrote questions, and then we can send them to the Rabbanim which one they want to talk about regarding Mashiach. Questions that people were asking.
Right.
And we make a list.
So now you're gravitating back to us organizing this whole thing.
Yeah, it would be us working on it, and you're right. No, but I can maybe hook up the thank you Hashem people, ask them if they want to do this.
Do it together, Atarabah. Do it together. What's the problem? What is so freaking?
The only thing is we know from the eviction
together is Ichvation. Ich arbeiten. We end up doing all the work.
But it's not only that. It's not only that. We have to ask ourselves. Look, we know for better or for worse.
Can't hear you. You're going in and out.
I don't know if it was for better. I mean, we know for better or for worse. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but when Lakewood had a shmekiton that it's Lubavitch. They said Lubavitch and Mashiach. No, that's not us. We're keep us. Mashiach, fine. Suratskin talks about Mashiach. He talks about it as a kach in it, in a sense, but he doesn't want to feel like he's being manipulated by Lubavitch on the subject of Mashiach. And okay, a misnagit fart a misnagit. So we can either write them off and say, fine. So then, you're either on board or you're not, and we're going forward. Or we can have a little bit of a different approach, which is we get the chevra at Thank You Hashem excited about the idea. We give them certain ideas. We say we're ready to help, but they run with it. It's their project. And
you could also do music with it if you want to do that. Take a little break, do some music. Yeah,
No, I mean, all of it.
You know who else maybe might be interested in something like this? Rabbi Zachariah Wallerstein passed away today. So
Yeah, Nebuch, nice guy.
Anyways, he has this organization Ornava. They're there when they do events. They're huge, and I think he cared, So they want to do something lately nishmasim or something, whatever. I don't know if this would speak to them, but I'm just saying I don't know who has a connection. But I think there are people in Lubavitch that have a connection to all these people. I can find that from the ladies if anybody has a connection to Ornava. If they put together something like this, they get thousands of. I don't know if it's only in women that they get, if they also make it into the thing. Another one who can take it and run with it and make it huge would be if we can get the organizers of Torah Anytime. If Torah Anytime makes it a Torah Anytime project, that would be like off the charts.
Correct. No, so I was also thinking about Torah Anytime.
How about
Why don't we could reach, if someone has a cashier with them, we should reach out to all of them and see who's willing to take it up. But they could do it all together. It could be a project from 3 companies.
I want to tell you something. If you can find the right guy in these offices, you can talk to them frankly, and you can tell them, Chevre, Chabad is sick and tired of being the only ones. Not words. You can say not in such words. Chevre, take Mashiach and take ownership of it and do something.
No, but you see it happening already. You see it happening already. Look at YouTube. You see it happening already. It's happening.
Right. So you challenge them. You challenge them. And you can say almost already we challenge. Chabad is challenging the rest of you to step up. Step up.
Okay, I don't know if we can do
it. I think you get the right guy. You get the right guy in these places, and you say, look, the bottom line is there needs to be more conversation about Mashiach in Yiddish Welt. We can either continue to do it.
Maybe Chaim Kanievsky, he was very into it. He just passed away. Maybe he has his chevra.
Right.
In Israel, maybe. I don't know. I'm just thinking. He spoke about it a lot of times. Mashiach's about to come. We gotta do this. We gotta do that. Talk about it.
Anyways, I think it could be done.
We have connections to these people.
I think it wouldn't be too impossible to convince one organization to make it a look. It'll be I promise you can impress on them that it's going to be a far more interesting and exciting and therefore compelling a symposium than a symposium on Shatnez. Let them. It's not going to be hard to convince them that this will be the most interesting topic that they can create a symposium. So that people will actually tune in. If they have all these big names, these recognizable names on the Reuven, you're on mute.
I muted everybody. It was too much noise.
And then Reuven, you're still on mute. Reuven, you're on mute.
What I'm saying is that it's dangerous to have these meetings because we always come up with new, exciting mer arbit. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Reuven, I was surprised to hear that from you.
Whose idea was it?
It was Yitzchak Raskins, but he's very busy right now. No, it was actually Aaron Isaac Binyamin.
Yes.
I'm ready. Hineni. I'm here. I'm ready.
Tell me which concept?
Aaron Isaac, we expect a progress report next week. Shkayach, have a good day.
By the way, there was a bit, like I said, Ephraim Mintzvei talked about the booklet. You didn't see the video? I gesagt, Mamish, jeder chassid needs that booklet.
And Laser told me, Laser called me yesterday. Laser told me that he got a lot of he got a few inquiries after that about the booklet.
The booklet. I'm getting emails.
Mentioned it. Okay, so there you go. So we should be on top of it.
Why doesn't JLI take it on? Turn to young immigrants and tell them, adopt it. Make it a JLI publication. It's your guy anyway.
Exactly. I was telling Laser to do it at JLI. He said it's finished. I don't know why. This is more geared to like from understanding. But
it doesn't make a difference. JLI has all this stuff.
I told him that.
Be in their catalog department. It should absolutely be in their catalog department.
100%. I don't know.
We should make it into a little bit of a small hardcover booklet too. It can be sold in all the Chabad stores in Kingston and in places like that. People can.
Well, it should be part 1. That's
part 1. Yeah.
It should be very clear that this is a series. All right, Chavra, but
Sandy, you're
going off, but there's work for you on the other project. It's waiting for you. I'm just letting you know.
And Isaac,
Sandy, it's waiting for you. Arbit is waiting for you before you run away from me.
where on the other thing?
Yes, it's sitting and waiting. It's on your desk.
I want to tell you something. I'm multitasking. I'm responding to the text as we speak. The bottom line is, I mean, whatever. I'll respond. I'll respond there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
How do we take the next step? No, the Bzush is birth. No, Pel Mamish. What are we doing?
And Isaac's going to give us a progress report on this idea.
I'm giving you what? On one idea. This idea. Okay.
On the idea that you want to. You came up with an incredible idea.
So we need some help. So you can help or not?
The progress report on the help you found. Maybe Bendy Rubenfeld.